Well, it started. Now we just have to figure out how to get it to run. Welcome back to Robert's British Cars and Stuff. This is the 74 MGB First Start, Part 2. Where we left off, well, the engine started, it was running okay, smoked a lot. I thought it was a new manifold. Turns out there was a huge oil leak on the back of the cylinder head. Also, I later found out that the water pump was leaking a lot out of the hole in the bottom of the water pump. So we have to replace the water pump and plug that oil leak. To do a quick recap, this is the engine from my 64. That's another project. But you can see right here, there is a little plug in the back of the cylinder head. And on the 74, that plug was gone. Obviously, it was taken out when they boiled out the head and stuff and never replaced. So I had to go buy a new one. Here's the new one. Yes, that's it. That's the little plug right here. It's not very big, but I know it's a plug because it says plug on the bag it came in. It also says quantity 2 because I bought 2 in case I lost one. So this is a little plug. It's made out of brass and it goes in that hole in the back of the cylinder head. Now, what I did is its sister that is currently in the cylinder head, I put it in there and it slid in very easily. Kind of hard to get out, but to make a long story short, I got it out. And then I used my friend JB and his brother Weld and put that in the cylinder head with JB Weld. Hopefully it'll hold. Let's see how it turned out. Since I can't get the camera down there, I have a mirror. And as you can see, there's my little circle of JB Weld on the back of the cylinder head. I put JB Weld around the plug. I put the plug in the hole, and then I covered it with another layer of JB Weld. I'm going to assume that because this plug is so close to the rockers, where the oil would normally squirt out of anyway, that there's not an excessive amount of pressure there, and that this should be enough to hold it in. The only way to find out is to get the engine started and see. But before we can get the engine started, I have to change the water pump. To change the water pump, the first thing we have to do is drain the system. Now, one thing about the aluminum radiator and aluminum radiators you may purchase for your MGB, there's no drain plugs in them. So the only way to drain it is take off that bottom radiator hose. And then after that's drained, then we can move the radiator out of the way, take off the alternator, take off the pulley, take off the water pump, put the new water pump back on, and throw everything back together. And I'm sure that there's a lot of videos online on how to change a water pump on an MG. So I'm not going to bore you and force you to watch me fumble through changing a water pump. One note, as you can see, there might be enough room in there to pull the pulley off, take the alternator out, and change the water pump without moving the radiator. But I don't want to be knocking the radiator with my hand or a wrench and dent those pretty little aluminum fins. So I'm going to try to move the radiator out of the way when I replace the water pump. Maybe we'll stop back in and see how I'm doing along the way, but most likely I'll be back when the water pump is in. Well, as you can see, we got the radiator out of the way. Okay. Now we're going to remove the alternator from the top of the water pump right here. And then we're going to pull that pulley off. Well, we moved the alternator out of the way. I don't think I have to take it off, but should be able to work around that. Okay, let's get that pulley. Okay, the pulley's off. Now we've got the 4 water pump bolts. Okay, I've got the 4 bolts off. I'm just going to tap it gently here. Enough to break it loose. And There it is. And there's the engine bleeding. Okay, let's get this over here on our bench. See what we got. Move some stuff out of the way here. Well, there's the water pump was leaking from here a lot. So I'm going to just say that the seal in here is what was failing. That's about a smooth resistance. This one is turning a lot easier than this one. Are they the same? Yeah, they look pretty much the same to me. So now we have to put the new one on. Woohoo! As I mentioned before, this is the old water pump. This is the new water pump, or the replacement water pump. One thing I forgot to order a gasket. So I made one. Let's get this thing put together. I know what you're asking. Permasex. Yeah, let's get some Permasex, okay? Okay, I know what you're asking. Permatex 1 or Permatex 2? This will be Permatex 2. I hope there's enough. That's going to go on there, hold the gasket in place while we put it in. Okay, we got the pulley on, and we have the alternator installed, and we have the belt snugged up. Let's see about putting the radiator back in. The radiator is in place, and I have the upper and lower hoses attached, and the thermal switch is in place. What I'm going to do is reroute the wire for the thermal switch, which turns on the fans, and I'll put the bolts in that hold the radiator in. We'll bolt the radiator in, put some coolant in there, and then we're going to start it. And let's see what happens. Fuel pump is pumping. It ran. I had the choke pulled out. I pushed the choke in and it died. Maybe I should try using my foot here. Nothing leaking so far. See if I can tighten it down a little bit. Let's hope that the smoke is the oil from last time. No coolant leaking down there. Temperature gauge is coming up. The water is not circulating, so I don't think the thermostat is open yet, but it should be opening pretty quick. That water's getting warm. One of the oil cooler lines is seeping. We'll snug that up and see if it stops. The water is starting to circulate. hoping these fans kick in. Wired up. Now, as I said, let's review the little oil plug in the back of the cylinder head. Seems to be holding nicely. So it appears that the JB weld and the little plug did the job. The new water pump isn't leaking. Water is circulating. I haven't seen any big bursts of air come out. I got to show you this. The fans are turning. Yay! That I'm very happy. And there's the coolant. So where are you? My thermal switch is in a good place because the fans came on right when the gauge got to 180. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, there we are. We're just a little try it this way. We're just a little past halfway and the fans came on. Let's see if it'll start again. Yeah, timing will be the next thing. Notice the generator light went out, so the generator's working. Woohoo! Okay, thank you for watching Robert's British Cars and Stuff. First Start 74 MGB. Took a little more time than I thought it would, but what the heck. Now we can go enjoy some of this beautiful sunshine. Bye-bye.